were discussing about how the concepts are used in the digital media plan, and we had a look at the web views, page views, unique visitors. Now we are going to look at impressions. What were the display ads are now known as impressions in the digital channel. Now, you place various kind of display ads on multiple web pages, and that is basically the response from a server to a page request from the user when he or she browses. How you calculate impressions? Simply by multiplying reach with frequency. I repeat, in case of impressions, we are looking at the display ads which are placed on multiple web pages that come only as a display that you see on the screen. So, at times if you have logged into any site, you would find that there are certain ads which display, which get display, which come on display as impressions, they come, and that is what we are looking at, and they can be on multiple web pages at the same time. Click. Now, when you click on, these are the click ads, which provides a user with an opportunity to download another file the moment you click on an advertisement, and that gets recorded in your server. So, there are some ads which pop up, some windows which pop up, and the moment you click on that particular window or that particular message, it takes you to a different page, a different file, and that is something which is recorded by the server. So, after the impression count, this is the next stage in the conversion funnel. So, how many people actually clicked on your advertisements? Related with these are the concepts of cost, that is CPM, which is cost per thousand, which is nothing but the cost of serving 1000 impressions. Almost all the digital media buyers, they execute this metric, right. So, all the digital buys that you make, they are executed using cost per thousand. The related concept is for the clicks, which is cost per click, cost of advertising, which is based on the number of clicks received. Let us now look at the stages which are involved in digital media planning. Broadly, we can divide the stages into three parts. The first part, determining media planning strategy. So, you have to really have your strategy, media planning strategy in place. The second will look at the mix, and the third would allocate the budget across the channels that you have chosen. So, after having a discussion on the digital strategy phase, I am sure students, you know that there is no one particular strategy, and for a digital marketer, the strategy actually deals with decisions which range from lot of aspects. They range on a lot of aspects where the decision has to be undertaken. The decision with respect to your offerings, your life cycle stage, your target audience, the presence in the funnel, all this has to be kept in mind while you are determining your digital marketing strategy. Now, with respect to planning, media planning, a firm has to first of all decide similarly what is going to be your objective. So, what is the firm's objective? And there can be one single objective or there could be multiple objectives for a firm depending on what is your product portfolio, what is the need for each separate product, what you wish to communicate to the target audience. Usually, we find that there are typically 4 core elements, 3-4 core elements, a mix of which is used by the media planners on the digital platform to develop their strategy. That is, you have to, as a firm, develop your digital media strategy with respect to each of these core elements. And what are these each of core elements? That is your, your digital medium is going to address these or is going to revolve around these: your channels, affiliates, content creators, people who are creating the content, and your customers. So, let us look at the digital media planning with respect to each of these core elements. Channels. And we are going to look at these channels in the greater detail in the second stage, which is going to deal with the channel mix. What are the channels? Obviously, the general digital communication channels. They can be your search engine, display, social media, any other media platform, even mobile. Affiliates is a second core element around which you have to determine your digital media strategy. What are affiliates? Partners or some network, people who you are going to affiliate with. So, you have to develop a partner network in the same business, it can be in the same industry, it can be around the same product, and that affiliation with your partner is going to help you in generating leads and converting your prospects at a price which has been agreed upon between the partners. Content creators, you pay people who produce content so that they can come up with the content which is actually compelling, which actually acts as a trigger and helps you to convert your targeted leads. So, you have to have a strategy in place for your content creators. You also need to have a digital media strategy for your customers, because at times in case of digital platforms you also use customers and their influence, because they are very much a source of generating content, right. So, it is a user generated content also, where they themselves also emerge as influencers, and so they can also be very much a channel. You can pay them for their loyalty in different ways, by making them as influencers for your brand, and therefore this is something which is going to give you further advocacy from these consumers, or they are going to be influencers for your brand in a strong way. Coming to the second stage of the digital media planning, which is selecting channel mix. So, after having the strategy in place for our 4 core groups, that is customers, affiliates, channels, and the parties that we have seen just now, we would also be looking at the mix. When it comes to the digital framework, one has to see that the channel is further segregated, or it can be very easily understood through this acronym, which is POEM. P stands for paid, O stands for owned, E stands for earned, and M for medium or channel. So, this becomes paid, owned, earned, media. Now, what is a paid channel? It is any channel where a firm is paying to get the display or to get the visibility, or is paying to get its content promoted. Earned, you do not actually pay, but there is a certain publicity or exposure which a brand is going to receive on its own, organically, naturally, through third party sources. So, there can be a social media mention, there can be a mention about your brand in somebody's blog, and that earns you some sort of promotions. So, this is what is being generated on its own. Now, earned would be the channels where you can have, and you can have less control, because these are the earned through various ways, organically generated. Owned, on the other hand, are the platforms which are being owned by the brand. So, the channels which are being owned by the brands, and the channels which are in the control of the brand, therefore allowing direct messaging and direct content creation to the brand. Let us also see, students, that it is very much relevant that you choose your channel mix across the stage of your digital presence. Now, different channels, be it the own channel or the paid channel or the earned channel, it is going to have a different prominence, or a different set of channels may be used by a firm in different stages of its digital state. So, like in case of traditional marketing, you talk about the product life cycle. Here you have a digital cycle. You are in a digital stage, which can be broadly classified into 3 sub stages. The first being your launch stage. As it is clear, this looks just like the introductory stage in PLC. So, what is going to happen in a launch stage? As is clear from the name, one can understand that you are launching. You have just adopted the digital mediums or the channels, and you are doing this to launch your product. You are launching into, you are getting introduced into the digital state, and your digital state is pretty much at the introductory level. So, this involves the firm or its product which is in the launch stage. The firm can also be in the launch stage, or the product can also be in the launch stage, where you are making use of specific mediums, specific channels. The purpose obviously in the launch stage would be to generate awareness. People don't know much about you or your product, and it would help you in generating initial inquiries. So, some of the own channels that one can use in this stage could be your search engine optimization through keywords, or community platforms. Your earned would be your social media, any organically driven communication in the earned channels, or the paid ones would be display, 1000 displays, or your search engine marketing, or maybe even your SMS that you can do to connect with the consumers. The second comes your growth stage. Now, what is this stage? The firm or the product has already taken a pick off. So, it is already established, and therefore, at this stage you need the channels which would help the firm in converting its prospects, potential prospects, to confirm leads. So, now they are no longer prospects, but now you have converted them into the leads, and subsequently you will be converting them into your consumers and sales through the consumers. Now, what channels you can use? Mobile apps. In case of owned, you can have the own applications that you can develop for mobiles. You will be focusing the content which will be more focused around what kind of knowledge consumer wants in the growth stage, or how the consumer knowledge is going to about the product and about the firm is going to come handy in converting the consumer from prospect to the lead and generating sales through him. Earned would have specific social media. Not everybody is going to talk about you organically in this stage, or certain positive comments will act as an earned recognition for you. Paid would again be display that you can continue with in the growth stage. Your search engine marketing you can continue, but here the SMS will be for sales. It will not be for just connect in the introductory stage or the launch stage, but here you will be sending the SMSs for sales. The third stage is established. Now, you as a firm or your product is pretty much stable. So, the product is stable, it is in existence, it is known, and now you have to safeguard your position. You have to scale up to become a leader across all possible channels. So, you see how the objective, even your media plan and the choice of channel will keep on changing depending on what is your digital stage, right. So, in case of established stage, you will now be using blogs. So, now you are pretty much established, you need not do anything more, but you can write on your blog about your brands. You can have some earned media in terms of more curated, more user generated content which is more aligned with your brand, because by now you are stable. You have social media channel that can be extended further. You can continue with your display when it comes to paid channels. You can continue with your search engine marketing. You will also bring in more affiliates at this stage. So, affiliate marketing here comes into picture. You can strengthen your mobile marketing. So, some applications which you launched in the launch stage, now in the established stage, it would have settled down and you would be using a lot of mobile marketing to either through the apps or through the SMSs to reach out to your consumers which already exist. So, coming to the third stage of your digital media planning, which is allocating budget. So, after selecting the channels in accordance with various stages, now we have to allocate, we have to divide the budget across the mediums. How this would be done? One has to devise a way. How would I decide how much to invest in my social media activity? How much should I go for, in case of mobile app development and marketing? How much should go to my display ads? How much should go to my blog? How much should go to, various other aspects, my website design, my website development? So, I need to devise certain ways, and the ways are 4. One is very simple and very easy to implement method, which is affordable. Simply what you can afford. If you can afford more, go ahead and spend more. If you cannot afford and you are working with a very strict limited budget, or obviously you are going to have that kind of restriction in your budget allocation. Percentage of sales method. Depending on how much percentage of sales you are generating through your digital strategies, a certain fixed percentage of it can be kept aside and that can be used for your budget allocation. So, how much you generate sales, that is going to decide how much money and how much budget you can allocate to your digital channels in the subsequent cycle. Competitive parity method is the third method. Obviously, as is clear from the students, this means you are going to keep parity with your competing firms. That is, you have to match the budget according to your competitors. So, see where are they allocating their budget. Similarly, across those digital channels, you will also allocate budget in a similar manner. Now, as we see, these 3 methods, though they are very easy, very simple to understand and execute, have their own limitations. You may require more budget allocation for your digital mediums and channels, but you do not have that money and you cannot afford to allocate the required budget to the channels. Or percentage of sales, you are looking at the digital channels to promote your firm and your product. But in case of this methodology, you are actually becoming dependent on the sales that you generate, because only a percentage of that is going to be allocated as your budget on the digital channels. Competitive parity, there is again no guarantee that what it is working or has been working for your competitor would work equally well for your organization also. There can be difference in size, scale, media objectives, the target audience, characteristics of target audience, digital stage. So you cannot match your competition in all the respects, and because there are differences, your budget allocation, if it is blindly following the competition, may not give you the desired results, because you are only focusing on competition and on nothing else which can be a relevant aspect to your budget allocation. The fourth one counters or maybe provides you a solution to the limiting aspects that are there in the above three methods. So, the fourth method of your budget allocation is the most objective way of allocating your budget, and this is objective and task method. Now, what do you do in case of objective and task method? You develop the budget by defining specific objective. This is my media objective. I am going to see what relatable task I am supposed to perform to accomplish those objectives. I put all these tasks or jobs together, have an estimated cost associated with performing those tasks, and this gives me the total budget that I need for my communication. So, what is going to happen when you follow this? Unlike what happens in case of your affordability, that you are looking at promotions only as a cost factor, not as an investment factor, and you are not making a long term planning for your budget, budget allocation, puts a restraint on your overall budgeting decisions. Similarly, percentage of sales method, as I have said, that there is a biggest disadvantage that you are viewing sales as a determiner of your strategy rather than vice versa, and therefore you may tend to ignore various opportunities which can be very effectively tapped as an impact of your digital marketing strategies, because you are just focusing on the sales and your promotions are driven and your choice of channels are driven by your sales only. So, this overcomes all the limitations and you have a more logical, more objective way of allocating your budget. And then once you have allocated that particular budget, you have certain tools and channels in your digital basket, and this is what we are going to look next. What is there now for a digital firm in its basket? You have website, your own website, which is a own medium, which is an own channel, search engine optimization, PPC, which is nothing but similar to CPC, this is pay per click or cost per click, right? Affiliates, networks on partnerships, email that you can use extensively, your customer relationship management, CRM, display which comes in a big way, and then we can have a healthy combination of these also. Normally, it is the firm's prerogative which channels, which tools it wants to take, but as I said in the beginning of the session, we would also have a rapid discussion around what firms these days are using, what kind of digital channels they are using actually to communicate with their target audience. So, website takes the center lead. It becomes the nucleus of all digital marketing efforts. It is the hub of what all you are doing in the digital world. And perhaps that is the reason that students, this is also the most important element in the whole digital marketing strategy for any firm. What do you have a website presence? Do you have a website that is designed and you can you own this and you have absolute control over this channel to reach out to your consumers and to communicate with your consumers. So, this is a very vital, very important piece of your online presence, which gives you an opportunity and a platform to directly, talk and directly communicate with your prospects. Now, just generating traffic and having more and more people on your website is not going to lead you anywhere. What a firm needs to do, you should also have conversions, and that is exactly what your website, if it is used as a strong digital channel, should be doing. It should act as a conversion engine, that should propel, and that should, give it that kind of a stimulus, so that whosoever is coming on the firm's website, that traffic is diverted and is getting converted. So, it should act as a conversion engine for the traffic that is directed towards its website. Students, in the subsequent sessions, we would have more discussion on the other tools or channels that I have shown you in the digital basket. We will look at certain cost concepts, we will look at display, we will look at search engine optimization, and we will also be having some of the tools that we would be understanding in greater detail. We would have a greater understanding of content marketing, or your display thing. We would also have a greater understanding of social media marketing, mobile marketing, certain things like search engine, and not only the search engine but also search engine optimization, social media. So, we will look at various other more relevant channels and tools which digital firms are using or should use to more effectively communicate. And before that, in the next session, we would be talking about the communication mix, because that is the complete phase. This is the digital channel and communication mix as a part of the SCORE digital marketing framework. We have completed one part of it today, which is channel mix, and we would be looking at the other part, that is the communication mix, in the subsequent session. I hope that you have understood the framework so far. Kindly revise the concepts so that you can relate with the next session on communication mix. Thank you.